Yeah, that's really how I'm feeling right now. Just to work on myself and things like that. Try to better myself as a person, as a dad, all around, human being.
Yeah. Is it the fame? Is it something that you just don't like all the attention? Or
yeah, starting to shy away from the attention and things like that come with it.
Yeah, because it's like anything you do or say, it's all over the blogs. It's taken the wrong way. It's getting posted.
Yeah.
It's like you can't even be yourself at this point.
Yeah, that's a fact. Yeah, it's getting more so lame type of thing.
So it is official that the chaos has finally hit the fan in the Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis exhibition fight is now off the table, done, canceled, and completely shut down. And this time, it's not just a rumor because it comes straight from Jake's own most valuable promotions.
Nevertheless, Gervonta, on the other hand, he says something on IG. As soon as he did, everyone thought everything was A-okay. A fight was gonna go on with Jake, but that's not the case. Instead of Gervonta giving his reaction to his canceled exhibition with Jake that he was bragging about, instead he's celebrating the death of Victor Conte. That's as low as you can get. If you was feeling bad for Gervonta, don't feel bad no more. Why would you? Why should you when he is out here celebrating the death of a person who changed his life from bad to good, from worse to better, by doing the right thing?
You can almost hear boxing Twitter gasping together like, wait, that is it. Yes, if you had tickets, you better start planning a backup weekend because Tank is not walking to the Netflix ring anymore. And to make things even wilder, MVP is reportedly looking at replacements like Anthony Joshua, Francis Ngannou, and even Terrence Bud Crawford, and honestly, they are trying to turn Heartbreak into a blockbuster fast, because any of those names stepping in would set the internet on fire all over again.
Yes, this is official. I received an email from Jake Paul Promotion, MVP, Most Valuable. They stated the Gervonta fight is officially off. It's canceled. It will not take place. And they're looking for a replacement, which they don't have it yet. We'll see if that's AJ, Andre Ward, Terrence Bud Crawford, or Francis Ngannou. These names make a whole lot of sense.
After the Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis fight got canceled, Rolly Romero, the human sound effect machine, started going off like someone just stole his. WIFI. He did not even wait for the dust to settle. He is already out here, saying he will slap Jake Paul across the face like it is some kind of team-building exercise.
Bro, I'll be ready in a week. I'll be ready to slap Jake Paul across the face in a week. Jake Paul gets knocked out cold by me, bruh. Jake Paul won't fight me, bruh. And Tank would have stopped him. Tank would have knocked him out cold. And I'm bigger and I'm stronger than Tank. Tank would have knocked him out cold.
You can tell he's been holding that in since breakfast. And honestly, you have to respect Arlay's confidence. He said he is ready in a week. He does not care if he is drunk and that Jake is scared of him. The fight just got canceled. And Arley is already cutting promos like it is WrestleMania. You could almost forget that this guy had his own rematch drama with Ryan Garcia. He is out here mixing heartbreak beef and open mic night energy all in one rant.
Me and Jake fight in 2 weeks. No, and then they want to go waste their time with Ryan, right? Bro, Ryan Garcia done wasted 6 months of my life, bro, because we're over here trying to figure out the a rematch because me and him obviously had a rematch clause, and then he don't want to fight me, and he wants to go run off and go fight Barrios and waste my time.
That is Raleigh for you. Unpredictable, unfiltered, and somehow hilarious. Even when he is angry, you cannot script this guy. You just sit back, grab some popcorn, and let him cook. And just when it seemed like Raleigh's meltdown was, the big finale with him yelling about slapping Jake Paul and calling out half of boxing, suddenly Oscar De La Hoya walks in like the substitute teacher who just canceled recess. He completely crushed the internet dream of Jake Paul versus Ryan Garcia with one swing of the legal contracts, and he said the scariest word in boxing after mandatory defense.
Let me just tell you why this fight is not going to happen. Ryan Garcia fights for DAZN, and Jake Paul fights on Netflix. I mean, that's pretty much the bottom line. Golden Boy has a contract with DAZN. Ryan Garcia has a contract with Golden Boy. And that's just the way it is. I mean, this is business.
You could practically hear the air leave Twitter when he explained that Ryan is locked with Golden Boy in days while Jake is Netflix bound, in other words. A different playground, same dream, crushing reality, and honestly, Oscar is not. Wrong, you cannot just jump from one streaming platform to another like you are skipping ads. This is not a crossover episode, it is a multi-million-dollar maze, with lawyers hiding around every corner.
You know, Ryan Garcia's probably going to rant saying, oh, you're keeping me from making money and this and that and fighting. No, you have to go by the law, by the rules. You have a contract with DAZN. You have a contract with Golden Boy. It just doesn't happen that way. So anyway, Ryan Garcia's next fight will be announced by me, who he's fighting and when he's fighting next.
But here's where it gets spicy. Oscar was not just blocking deals. He was dropping philosophy lessons in the middle of an interview. You could tell he is half promoter, half disappointed dad, saying Ryan needs focus, a new trainer maybe. Big Bear at this point, Ryan might need a vacation and a therapist before another training camp, but beneath all the Hollywood drama, Oscar's message hit: boxing is a business, not a group chat fantasy, and whether you love him or hate him, he is right. About one thing, Ryan Garcia's comeback will either be redemption or the next viral meltdown we cannot stop watching.
He loves doing, because I believe that Ryan loves to train. He loves to box. He just needs that to be in that mental state of mind that is going to be just 1,000%, in line, with boxing and fighting and world champion. That's got to be his mentality. So I believe he has it in him. We're just anxious and waiting for his return, and we'll have something ready for you in the next couple of months.
Right after Oscar De La Hoya slammed the legal brakes on the Jake Paul versus DHL versus, Bisping stepped in like the voice of reason at a family barbecue gone wrong, the man sitting at an airport sipping his coffee. And roasting the whole situation like he had been waiting for this all week, he called the idea of Jake Paul fighting Francis Ngannou completely ridiculous, and honestly, I could not even argue from Tank Davis, a guy who weighs as much as a hotel pillow, to Francis Ngannou, a guy who could punch through a Tesla door that is not matchmaking, that is chaos theory in motion.
That Jake Paul might be fighting Francis Ngannou, which is just absolutely bloody ridiculous. If you know the situation, it was supposed to be boxing Gervonta Tank Davis, a man that weighs 133 pounds or 135. Regardless, it's a man that is way, way smaller than Jake Paul. So that is just ridiculous, and I'm giving my thoughts on that before.
You can tell Bisping is thinking, Jake, my brother, pick a weight class before the multiverse collapses. And the best part? He is not being hateful, he is genuinely baffled like the rest of us. It is like watching someone go from playing chess to wrestling a grizzly bear because they got bored of pawns, but here is where it gets gold. Bisping's tone shifts from "this is insane" to, but if Jake actually does it, I will respect it. And you know what? Same if. Jake steps in with a powerhouse. Like Ngannou, that is not influencer boxing anymore. That is survival mode. That is write your will before round one kind of courage.
There's no way Jake Paul fights him. If he does, hey, listen, I'll be the first one to hold my hand up and say I was wrong. But I just don't think that's going to happen. Nate Diaz, yeah, I do believe that would be a possibility. People are very interested in Jake Paul. He is a phenomenon in that regard.
Still, you cannot help but laugh picturing Jake trying to dodge a sledgehammer while Netflix executives whispered, "This is great for engagement," and deep down, we all know we would tune in, not for technique, not for legacy, but because watching Jake Paul flirt with disaster might just be the wildest crossover event boxing has ever seen, the kind of fight where you do not blink, not because of suspense, but because you are low-key checking if Jake is still breathing after every punch.
Listen, I will say Jake Paul is definitely improving over the years. You can see the work that he's putting in, so I do respect that. Nothing but respect for anyone that steps foot in the ring, especially boxing, because it is very dangerous. And if Jake Paul was to do that against Francis Ngannou, that'd be a gamble, and I would have to respect it. Simple as that.
And just when you thought the matchmaking chaos could not possibly level up, Francis Ngannou stepped in, not with a punch, but with pure confusion. He sounded like he was trying to solve a riddle when Jake Paul's team called "You Could." Almost hear him thinking, "Wait, Gervonta Davis to me, are you sure you dialed the right number?" He was so baffled, he asked, "Who is?" Jake, and honestly, that might be the most unintentionally savage response of the year. That is like LeBron asking, "Who is?" Steph on live TV.
Possibility that Francis Ngannou will step in for Gervonta Davis and fight Jake Paul.
No, there's no such of thing happening. Basically, like how can they go from like Gervonta Davis to Francis Ngannou? Like, I mean, Gervonta Davis is a fantastic boxer, but and is a one-shot knockout artist. But come on, like the weight different and everything, it make no sense.
Jake's team really tried to go from Tank Davis 135 pounds of dynamite to a man who can knock down walls by sneezing. That is not a replacement, that is a plot twist from a Marvel movie, and the best part, Francis did not even flinch. At the Money Talk, TMZ tried throwing out numbers like it was an auction, but Ngannou stood tall like, "Bro, this is not about money, this is about logic." Respectfully, he called it nonsense, and he is right, because imagine that size difference. Jake would need NASA clearance just to step into orbit with Ngannou. It is bad when even Francis's own team thought it was a prank call. He was not flattered, he was offended, and I get it, you do not challenge a lion to a pillow fight and call it competition, Francis. Shut the whole thing down with calm heavyweight confidence, and honestly, it might be the most polite knockout we have ever seen outside the ring.
I mean, don't disrespect me like that. And then they even say like even come out after and say, and what if the number are good? He sent out some number. I'm like, it's not about the number. If it was about the number, we could have started talk. I would have tell you, I'm not just interested. It make no sense for me. It's not my what I'm looking at right now.
So after all that chaos, canceled fights, viral rants, and heavyweight confusion, one thing is clear: this whole Jake Paul saga has officially turned into boxing's version of reality TV. 1 minute, it is Tank Davis, next, it is Raleigh. Threatening slaps, then Oscar-waving contracts. Bisping sipping his tea in disbelief, and Francis Ngannou politely saying, "Nah, I am good." It is drama, ego, and entertainment all tangled into one giant headline. But that is why we love it. Right? You never know if you are getting a fight announcement or a Netflix documentary teaser. Now, it is your turn. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Should Jake still fight this year? Or take a step back and rebuild the hype? Would you actually watch Jake versus Ngannou if it ever happened? Or is that crossing into video game territory? Let's hear it. And yo, do not ever forget to like, share, and subscribe to Boxing Headquarters, where we break the chaos down one jab at a time. See you in the next one.